What's up, everybody? Look, the time is getting near. We are 4 days away from the NFL opener, and we are a week from now, from this day, as we'll be talking about the post game for the Washington Commanders. But look, it's only the Huddle podcast. We recapping everything that we saw last week, more with the roster news, brand new signing, and we getting ourselves ready as we get ready to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is Owning the Huddle podcast.
I know it looks like CeeLo is at a hotel, but he disappeared. I don't know exactly where he is. But Breeze, what's good, man?
What's good?
Oh, there you go.
What's good? Is he back? No, he's still
He
frozen.
trying to slide around the camera. Welcome back to Owning the Huddle podcast. Brother Deuce is here. He's here to defend his O-line. I'm getting sick and tired of you dudes and this fan base talking about my O-line. We gonna handle this today. I said tell CJ to drop that.
No, y'all not bro.
Nah, it's over. You already put it out there, DT.
It's a great day for me, but what will be a better day will be when we get this team to a place where we're playing beyond the regular season, where we're competing for a championship.
Yo, what up? Welcome back on the Huddle Podcast. I am Deuce. We got CeeLo in the building. We got DT in the building. It is week 1. We are finally here. It's finally here, man. Finally here. What's up, CeeLo? How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. I can't believe it feels like this may have been the longest off season ever. I don't know if it's because of the Jay Daniels pick and all that stuff, but man, it just feels like it feels great, man. NFL football on Thursday. Can't wait. Let's get it.
And Friday.
Me
too.
Yo, so Mitch was good. Mitch is in the building. Everybody else that's joining, we definitely appreciate y'all tapping in. Let us know you're here. Hit up the comment section. Those of you that's on Twitter, X, we definitely appreciate y'all. But if you go to the bio, you can join on YouTube. We definitely appreciate you joining on YouTube to chop it up with us. Key is in the buildings. Troy was good. Yo, this Brazil game is insane, bro. Like, first of all, they can't wear green, right? Now, if any player or any coach, any member, anybody get caught on Twitter, they're going to get fined like $8,300 because there's no representative there. I forgot exactly what it is, but it's like there's not like a representative for I don't know what it is, but all I know is they can't be on Twitter while they're in Brazil. Ash was good. Ash. Troy say he ready for football. G Reese was good. What y'all think about that, man? And we're gonna get into some commander stuff, but I don't know, man. Like AJ Brown already said, he ain't even coming out of his room.
This is insane, bro. Like, I understand trying to grow the game internationally, but at what expense? You know what I'm saying? I think maybe, player safety is not the priority as they try to preach. I mean, not wearing green for the color for the team that's the primary color is green is kind of insane. So
both teams,
exactly, both teams. So I don't understand. I mean, I understand it, but I probably don't agree with it. So there's so many other places they could choose. That's very safe. That will be welcoming, and you won't have to worry about that stuff. So I'm completely like baffled they even thinking about going along with this game.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite frank, I think to me, I don't really have a problem with the game being Brazil, but it's more so the teams that they chose for the game, knowing that the color scheme is what makes them, that team. Like Philadelphia is green and Green Bay, we all know they have one of the most iconic jerseys in NFL history. And now you're telling them to do something entirely different because it's like they have like a certain mantra down there. I was like, that's kind of insane to me. So I just think the NFL could have thought about this a little bit further, in my opinion, on how they think. But it's I think it's still going to be good. I just think hearing all these stories and stuff now, what got these boys scared and stuff like that. Some of these guys come from like probably the most dangerous part of the hood, but this is another territory.
This different, bro. Like this a whole this is different. Like you can't wear green. Like how insane is that? You can't wear green. They can't wear any of their paraphernalia that they have, either team. So I think the Eagles is wearing, and I'm talking about just basic on the streets. Like I hope they don't have like no fan, rallies or anything like that, bro. Like I wouldn't be going. I will not be going. So I think Philly is wearing all black. Then when they black helmets or whatever. I don't think Green Bay put out their uniform yet. Have y'all seen Green Bay yet? I haven't seen them put out their uniform.
Nah, I think the I'm looking at it now. The Eagles uniform is like black lettering on white jerseys with the black helmet and the white eagle. But I haven't seen the Green Bay ones yet. That's crazy though. Can you imagine like an Eagles team with no green in it? Or uniform. It's crazy.
I mean, what is it? So maybe Green Bay gonna wear black with white letters, I guess.
Maybe the opposite, right? Yeah, I would think so, or something.
They do
yellow,
have
maybe some yellow in there.
Oh no,
is yellow okay? Do we know if yellow's okay?
Yeah, I think yellow is fine. Maybe that will yellow.
Maybe we need to get to Brazil.
Green Bay got a cold rush, right?
Isn't Brazil's football / soccer team green and yellow? Am I tripping, or is that Colombia?
You gotta ask Slim. I don't watch kickball. Radar, what's good, Radar?
Yeah,
but yeah, man.
It's crazy.
It's gonna be crazy. But hey, I'm gonna be tapping in. They put it on TV. I'm gonna tap in. Before we get started, another thing I want to talk about. So, DirecTV and Disney couldn't come to an agreement. So, during the U.S. Open and minutes before the LSU USC game, DirecTV went black. How petty is that, bro?
That's crazy.
How petty is that, bro?
Glad I ain't got the box no more.
Oh man, how petty is that, man?
Somebody gonna get fired.
Oh, what's up, Troy? Yeah, we definitely gonna get into that, man, for sure.
So they did announce the Green Bay jerseys.
They did? What color they wearing?
They're wearing their home jerseys. Because this is the official NFL account. Them boys, them cheeseheads brave, boy. They got poisonous cheese coming. They wearing a home jersey. I'm about to put it in the group.
Yeah, let me see that joint, man.
Oh, is it the red? The red? Oh, it looks green to me.
I don't know. Maybe it's a different shade or something. I don't know, man. It's insane, bro. It's insane, bro. All right, man. So yeah, man. So we back, man. Sundays 9:30 post game. Next week we got the Bucks. So we want to talk about the roster, how it currently stands. Let's get right into it, man. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the position groups, and we want when we talk about them, is it either does this roster does this roster stink? Is the position group trash or is it roses? Does it smell like crap or do it smell like roses? Each position group. So, but before we get to the rosters, I want to talk about building around Jaden. So we start with you, DT. Do you think we've done enough for him to be successful?
I believe for this season, I understand
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah, BKE. Yeah, roses or crap. There you go.
I believe for this year, I think they've done enough for the short term, but they know we building for the long term. So I'll say yes. The wide receiver position is probably the slight weak point outside of Terry. You got a lot of unknowns and one vet that we just signed. We'll talk about later about, but I think having those guys. Good thing about them, all of them are veterans. Then you have Eckler, you go with Brian Robinson. You have Zach Ertz and Benson. Not probably could emerge. I think that's good enough. And the offensive line, um, three new starters, but I definitely think that's going to be the question mark as well. So I think it's enough for this year. Could they done more at those spots? Absolutely, but I think it's enough.
What you think, CeeLo?
I guess the question is enough for what? What are we trying to accomplish? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
If we're trying to, you know, see, you know, let's see if Jaden can reach his potential, or let's see him kind of grow as the season progresses. Do we have enough for him to do that? I think so, right? I think so. Play calling, you know, we got him some protection, a little, you know, a few weapons here and there, and so as a team, they should be able to grow. Now, do we want to compete in the division? Do we want to try to win, you know, make it to playoffs? We want to win a playoff game. I don't see that, and I think we're lacking in there in a few places, only because I think that you know, this is NFL. Usually, it's the last team that's, you know, last team standing, right? It's a war of attrition or game of attrition, and I think our depth is extremely lacking in several areas. Guys will get nicked up. That's football, right? And so, do we have that quality depth on the offensive line? Do we have that quality depth on the receiver in the receiver room? Do we have that quality depth in the running back room? And you just keep going. And I just don't know if we have that to sustain a 17-week season. We have a 33, 34-year-old tight end who we're relying on. You know, we have a almost 29-year-old, you know, third down back. We have a 34, 35-year-old linebacker who's very good. But again, we're actually an older team on average than we were last year. You know, it's probably a lot of that's probably, you know, Bobby Wagner, because he probably messes up the average. But like, you know, it really depends on what we're trying to accomplish this year. But if we're just trying to just show what Jay can do, show the defense and how to run it, and then these coaches to put their imprint. And as we move forward throughout the season, you know, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, I think we do have enough there. I just don't see us compete, like being extremely competitive throughout that period based on what I just said.
Let me ask you this though, and you just said it. Now I know we've seen a lot of teams; they always get a quarterback, and the team is suppressively they're young. Do you think it's good to have a lot of vets around a rookie quarterback? Because to me, I think it is when you look at it. These guys played a lot in the NFL, and Jaden is young, but he's also 23, played 5 years of college, so he's played a lot of games, so he's used to playing with people with a lot of experience in any sport. So him playing with guys like Zach or him playing with Austin Eckler, and then you having veteran guys on the defense, I think that's good for the culture building, what they're trying to build in Washington. Then eventually, the next couple of years, we know, and I think Radar made a great point. This could probably be the worst team as of right now that Jaden will have currently until we build more around him. I think to me, having vets for year one of his rookie years is more beneficial than what we realize it is.
No,
What's up, Ross? My bad. Go ahead, CeeLo.
No, that's my fault. That's a great point. You know, that's a great point. Having some key vets in key positions. It kind of my assumption was they did that intentionally. To your point, establish a new culture, trying to have get guys to learn how you do it the right way. Bobby Wagner, you're gonna have a guy like that. Bringing up a guy like McGee, and so you have a veteran center, right, and Biotis. I think that's a good thing. And then you help Jaden with protecting, calling protection of the line. No, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just interesting, right? Because to your point, we usually, you draft a young quarterback, you have an overall younger team, and it's usually a little rough. So in this case, it's actually a nice little balance. And so I agree with that perspective.
What's up, Ross? Definitely appreciate you tapping in. Reese was good. Be looking for a lot of heavy tight end involvement offense. That's the least amount they should. Yeah, that's true, man. I don't think they showed 13 once. I think we saw 12 a couple times. What's up, Breeze? What's good, man?
Yo, what's up, y'all? What's happening?
DT don't Buckeyes for this season. I think it's enough, but I feel like this is going to be Jaden the worst team. First of all, listen. We're not doing no OSU, right? Like we don't need you sliding the OSU in any of these comments.
We doing that.
Appreciate it.
We doing that.
Coach say they've done enough for 7 wins this year, and that's okay. I think AP has a number of wins in mind, and if we hit it, he goes aggressive in off season 2025. I want to come back to this. I want to come back to this comment.
The number of wins.
Okay. Yeah, I want to come back to this comment for sure. Good evening. What's up, cuz? Good evening, fellow. We were surprised, folks. We are being counted out this season has a start. I believe we show a different compared to where we were. This is the first year under new regime. Everything is new. For sure, man. Texas, I don't think we did enough, but we still we'll still be competitive. What's up, gang? Ash is, how much minimum time does a quarterback need to find coordination with the whole offense? Radar laughing at OSU. I think Telly made a good point, and I think that's something that CeeLo and DTU kind of brought out, is that can this team be competitive? Right? Can this team win, get to a number of games, regardless if it's a loss or if it's a win? Were they competitive in those games? Like, did they show fight in those games? But here, like, I don't think I agree with. I don't think it's the win-loss that's going to determine if he's aggressive or not. But let's start with Breeze. This is the coach. I think AP has a number of wins in mind, and if we hit that, he goes aggressive in the off. So the first question, Breeze, was, do we think that he added enough weapons around Jaden? And CeeLo asked a question, well, to do what? Right. So, like, let's go to you with both of those and try to blend them together.
I don't know. So I think we upgraded at running back based on what I think Cliff Kingsbury wants to do, right? With adding Austin Eckler. And then B-Rob is hopefully still going to be B-Rob. I would argue that we upgraded at tight end with Zach Ertz appears to be, excuse me, as well as what keeping John Bates, and then what we all think Ben Sinnott could develop into. I think we upgraded at tight end. The big question mark as far as adding weapons is the wide receiver position. We all know Terry, 17 down there somewhere, right? Like, that's never going to change. But as it currently stands, we're looking at, as far as we can tell, De'Ami Brown, well, I guess Noah Brown now being a number 2 receiver. But maybe not week 1 because he just got here, got to learn the whole offense. So I think there was an effort to improve. I don't know if I could say it was enough, but I don't know what enough is, though. I think in a lot of ways they're just trying to get through this season and see growth and development. And then to the point of the question, can kind of going not harder or going hard or aggressive, but just adding to what their current floor is going into next season, not this season.
What you think, CeeLo?
Yeah, I think very similarly. I think they could have done more, but to Telly's point, I think they'll be competitive, and it's really, to me. I know the regime. I know Adam and Dan Quinn. They keep saying we're trying to win now, but their actions don't say that, right? Their actions are very intentional. They're building this team in a way that they want to build it, which is through the draft. They got some guys that
As they said, they did say that
are good, good pieces. And I think people keep trying to conflict the two. They keep trying to say, "Oh, Adam, go trade for Brandon Ayuk, go trade." That's not his MO. He's telling you he's going to build through the draft. He said it several times, and I think by definition, that's not going all in. But they're doing the best they can as far as adding. They added some pieces, and obviously they had a successful draft. They kept some pieces from the previous regime, some, so I think they're going to be competitive, man. I just think we're going to have to work with what we got, in our wide receiver room, and along that offensive line, and that's my only, and I'm okay with all that, right? I'm okay with him doing all that stuff. We'll get into this later, but my biggest concern, and it's not the most popular one because everyone kind of forgot about it, but my biggest concern is the offensive line. We kind of forgot about that. The preseason was fine and we did okay, but I said it, I think, in the chat. Jaden's best seasons were coincided with a successful and a solid offensive line at LSU. He had a great line in the 2 years he was there, and it was and that was kind of not a coincidence. I don't want to see him get the Sam Howell treatment, right? I don't want to see him, and I know the offensive coordinator and stuff is different. I want to make sure he's protected because it will get difficult. The tape will come out on Jaden. Defensive coordinators will adjust. It's going to get complicated. He's going to pause sometimes. I don't want that to become, a big deal in terms of protection and in terms of, what we have to look forward to. So I just want to make sure he's growing and not worrying about every other play getting pummeled whenever he steps back, 3, 5, 7 steps, whatever.
Yeah. And just to add to what CeeLo was saying, as far as adding when he mentioned Brandon Ayuk specifically, this is the last time I'm going to mention this name on any platform, and then I'm moving on from it. That was largely a social media and fan fueled thing. Like nothing that AP, that nothing that any of them have done to this point in the all season led anybody to really and truly believe that they would make that bold of a move. They even came out and said, we're going to, like you said, we're going to build through the draft, supplement in free agency. There were no big, real splashy moves in the draft or free agency. And Jaden Daniel doesn't count because you had the number 2 overall pick and he was there. But they didn't trade up to get that pick. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Brandon Ayuk didn't help it by, the social media. He just went rogue on social media, including Jaden Daniels and everything. So it definitely didn't help. But that was largely a fan fuel thing. I'm sure there was slight interest and had the right deal falling in place, maybe. But I don't think nothing that they've done to me led me to believe that would be a move that they made. That was just something that was fueled on social media. So that's to all the people still clamoring for, T. Higgins and, all of them people who thought, oh, man, we can go get Brandon. I mean, we could, but I don't think that was ever a thing, a real thing for them.
When it came out that the 49ers came to us about IU, that kind of showed the signs of where things was going to go, in my opinion.
Right.
I'm thinking the whole time that we were the ones looking at him because, AP was there, but turns out they did that just to gauge the market and show them what it would look like with other teams. So there's nothing wrong with building the draft, people. We've seen some of the best teams, the teams that are currently in the playoffs and this and that, they constantly drafting and building around their young quarterbacks. There are a couple of trades in there, but the emphasis is to build for the long term. Most
long sustaining successful teams are built through the draft. You did have the Rams go and basically, essentially buy a championship that year. They went and traded for and signed everybody that they could sign and add to that roster. And then they kind of, right after they won, it just kind of fell apart a little bit. But like most, again, long-term, sustained, successful franchises built through the draft and pay their homegrown talent, which is something that's another story for another day here. But in the past, anyway,
Yeah, so because you have to have a way to sustain some type of success, right? Like when you get to that point where, okay, I need a couple big moves to make, sort of like what the 49ers did a couple years ago with CMC, those types of moves that's going to really put you over the hump. But like you're still going to have to add talent even in free agency. Right, like the draft is a crapshoot for the most part, right? It's a bunch of projections, so you can't like solely depend on the draft. But I think what it's looking like is that like the undertone is that we going to pick good players in the draft. We're going to build this team. We're going to get talent that fits us in the offseason. We're going to make moves that's going to fit this team. It's going to fit this timeline, because regardless if we want to believe it or not, the window is open right now. Right, you have a quarterback that's not getting paid $50-60 million. So regardless of how you look at it, the window is open right now. It just depends how far that window is going to open within these next 3 or 4 years before you have to pay Jaden Daniels. So as far as this year, when you talk about adding talent, and you want to talk about playoffs, winning a playoff game and those different types of things, you could look at it and say, they didn't make a lot of big moves. It's like they wanted to come in, bring their own people in. The people that's still here, they want to see if they're going to be their people. And I'm looking at this season more so as building depth for this team, right? Can some of these 1-year deals, can these guys be solid depth pieces, or can they be temporary starters, right? These rookies that's on the last year they deal, were they given a bad rep because of the coaching that they had over the few years? Like, is there actually more to these guys, or are they just who they are? This is what they're looking to figure out. And if you go into the off season, let's just say you go into the off season and Brandon Coleman looking like he's going to be your bookend left tackle. Like, he's going to go through some problems this year for sure. But let's just say he looked like a guy he could be your bookend left tackle. So now you go into the draft not needing to spend that capital in the first round. Right? What if Diami actually is good? Like, what if what we've seen from him was not what his potential actually is? I mean, what if Noah Brown, given more opportunities, can actually be a good wide receiver, right? Yeah. And you can extend them, So there's a lot of ifs, but this is why I don't like kind of looking into the offseason so far of what like mock drafts and all that different types of stuff, because we need to see the guys that we have. Are they actually going to be able to fill a hole? And I think that's something that we just got to wait and see. If they, like people say, we got a whole lot of holes, still got holes. Can the guys that's here now fill those holes? And that's going to be the biggest question.
I think even when you look at like I think it was Josh Harris who made the comment like they want to win now, or they want to win. Like, I think context matters with that. I think, if Andy Reid says he's going to win now, like, we want to win now, we want to win, the expectation for that should be the Super Bowl because of what the infrastructure was built around that team. Given the context of a team that had the number 2 overall pick twice in 4 years, like, I think you can easily look at win now as we just want to see this team improve. We don't want to be a 3-4 win team. We want to see 6, 7, 8 wins. We want to see like I said, we want to see us win enough games. Okay, we have some, to your point, dude. So we have something we can build on right here. We have a core, we have a foundation that we can isolate, and whether those 1-year deals leave and go elsewhere or they turn into longer contracts here, we have a core and a foundation that we can now build on. And from that, we can look forward. Okay, let's go from 7 or 8 wins this year. Okay, now the goal is 9 or 10 wins, moving, kind of, stepping it up. And, we've already seen, certain steps as far as, again, how they flip the roster. Like, if this team was built to win now, we wouldn't have seen the roster turnover that anywhere close to the roster turnover that we saw. I mean, we've had major turnover. We talked about it last week at almost every position. So,
I think one thing to add to that is that I feel is going to make or break what we consider to be like enough pieces or success is going to be Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you think about the 49ers and how they were built, what makes that thing go is Kyle Shanahan and that system, bro. Like, like they figured out ways to get the most out of, a lot of the folks that are in that room. That's not great, right? You talk about Jimmy Garoppolo, you're talking about, a not so good offensive line outside of Trent Williams. And they hide those kinds of deficiencies through the system and through adjusting and through a philosophy of running football. And can Cliff be that kind of guy for this team? We may end up, or when Mike did it, Mike and Kyle did it for us, 12 years ago. Can that kind of system take over? And all of a sudden, you didn't even think about a wide receiver room anymore. All of a sudden, these guys are getting open, and all of a sudden, guys, the game is slowing down for Jaden. That's when Cliff can really make his money. And the same thing for Joe Witt, getting the most out of his group. He has a less than stellar secondary. Can he create pass rush? Can these guys run to the football, tackle, et cetera, et cetera? So it's really going to be the coordinator who's going to make or break this team's success, and almost more so than the players.
Can I just add to that? This last thing from me on this is to that point, CeeLo, with the coordinators is I'm not sure about Joe Witt, but I know that Cliff Kingsbury wants to be a head coach again. So to your point of the coordinators and how the role that they play in the long-term success of this team, if this team is good, especially in the short term, we're going to lose one, if not both of those coordinators. So then the line of succession behind them also becomes important because, the disciples of Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt may not be as good as them. You know what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that line of succession is intact because, again, if we're good, they're going to leave. They're going to move on. That's what they want. That's kind of what you want as a head coach, to be good enough that people want to come pluck your coordinators.
And that's going to be something because Cliff can really start a tree, right? And so can Witt. There's a lot of young guys underneath them that they can really, set the tone. If we're, I don't think Cliff goes anywhere. He might get a couple interviews. I still think it's a little early, especially depending on how much success or no success we have. But just because of what's behind him, and what we have, I'm not too concerned about him leaving, even if he does. But Reese said we look at the name, and I think this matters a lot, especially in free agency, right? Or the waiver wire, or people like like this guy right here, right? But because of the name, right? Name doesn't bring production. Production brings production, right? So you can't get too caught up on a name if they haven't been productive. If they haven't been productive recently, you can't just depend on the name. You got to depend on production. And the thing Reese was talking about is we have a few guys that are not household names. You know what I mean? So when you win, like CJ, like when you win, get in the playoffs, you win a game, people start looking at you. People start noticing. They're looking at your team. What has this person done for the whole year? But you just got to get there, man. You just got to get there. Milton, what's up, Milton? Going to spend money next year. Listen, man, like we can't hold it.
We spent money this year.
Yeah, we spent money this year, and we can't hold it. You know what I mean? Like we got to spend this money, man. I think there's a certain. I think CeeLo, you talked about it. There's a certain threshold you have to get under going into the year, and I don't think we're there. So some an extension or something might happen. Probably the only person I could think of is probably Cosme. But we'll see. TC, I think B Rod will have a great season. I think the tight ends will be the difference, taking pressure off of
I think that's McLaurin, maybe.
McLaurin.
I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah,
supposed to be
McLaurin.
McLaurin.
Yeah. And then the receivers will show show the strength. Ash says Brian Ayuk friend zone the Steelers.
Friend zone does too. We being honest with
Get a decent roster this year and fill in the gaps next year. Then let loose. Yeah, we have to see what we got. All right, so let's get to some. Let's get to this rooms. Let's start on defense. I think for me the biggest concern on defense is the cornerbacks. I don't think we have a CB1. We might have a CB2, 3. We might have like 3 of those, right? We actually might have 3 CB2 3s in a sense, right? So for me, that's the biggest concern for me going into the regular season is this cornerback room. What about you, DT?
Yeah, I agree with you. The corner room is majorly my big concern. Really depending on the scheme and the pass rush from the interior and possibly from the edges to mask some of the weaknesses. I know Forbes, his skill set has been interceptions, but we're still trying to see can he play the game at cornerback all around. Not saying have to be locked down, but it's just certain things that he does, and we haven't seen it consistently yet. Benjamin St. Juice, he's been here. He's on the last year of his deal. This is a make or break year for him. And then you got Michael Davis, comes from the Chargers. He had a bad year last year. He's not been known to be playing good and stuff like that. So it's a lot of questions with this corner room really outside of Sandra still, even though he's a rookie. We still haven't seen him play as much other than preseason, but for all the praises he has been getting this offseason, in training camp, he's by far really their best corner on paper, and we get to see that on Sunday. So corners, man, we've been talking about it the entirety of this training camp and stuff. That's something I'm really nervous about. Like it could be really ugly if we can't get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get no argument from me. I think I don't want to speak for CeeLo or Deuce, but I think it's not much question that the cornerback room is probably the by far the weak point of the defense, the weakest one on the defense. I agree 100% with Deuce. As we currently speak, that could change as early as next week. But as we currently sit here, we don't have a cornerback one. At best, we might have 2 2s. I think we got a room full of 3s and 4s, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like Michael Davis, again, he was never a lockdown corner to begin with. He had didn't have a great year last year in LA, and then with the Chargers, and then he didn't have a great preseason. Didn't hear his name much in camp doing anything special, like outside of being a new addition. We all, Emmanuel Forbes and Benjamin St. Juice's struggles have been well documented, in game. And then after those 3, you looking at who? Noah, who's on his 3rd or 4th team now. Best case scenario for me, I think best case scenario is probably a 3. I know he's played in the system before, but best case scenario to me, he's probably a 3. Help me out. Like I don't like, what I'm saying? Like now again, I do believe in Dan Quinn and Joe Witt's ability to kind of scheme around that, hopefully. But there's no one corner I can look at and be like, okay, when I see him out there, I can trust that he gonna at least hold it down a little bit. I don't see it. And with every other room on the defense, we kept 6 safeties, bro. Like, like the best corners, the best 2 members of the secondary as we currently speak right now at the end of training camp, end of preseason are Mike Sam still clearly, he's probably number one. And then possibly Quan Martin. So, like, that's not very, to me, that's not very reassuring. I like Quan Martin. I love Sanders still, but that's just not, if a rookie second round pick, even if he's playing better than expectations, is by far the best cornerback on your team, that's a problem. Especially when you're playing, you had zero intent to play him outside.
Yeah, man. So as far as the cornerback room, they stink.
I mean, it's a fact. I mean, they do. They're not good, bro. Like, I mean,
They stink.
Prove me wrong. I will gladly.
Prove me wrong. Yeah, most definitely.
At this point, oh man.
I agree with all that. I agree with all that. I'm also, we don't talk about this a lot, but I think the ends are a little bit questionable as well. I don't think we have like a legitimate, D, rush D and one, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
We have a lot of really, above average, very good guys on the end. Armstrong had a good year last year. Farrell's been around a little bit. I think they want to try to send Luvu up, out there on the end sometimes. So we'll see, but that kind of coincides with the secondary, right? Can we figure out a way to get to the quarterback, or to at least, make him uncomfortable so the secondary can't be as exposed. So my actual concern starts in the front seven, or at least the end, and let's see how creative they can get. We don't have a Micah Parsons, so, can they do whatever they got to do to make that quarterback uncomfortable with whatever we have on the roster right now. And I think we do got some dogs. I just got to figure out who they are and how they're going to show up on Sundays when it comes to rush in type stuff.
Yeah. The only reason I agree 100% with you, just the only reason that defensive end, which would be my number 2 concern, don't get me wrong, I just think that it's a little easier to scheme around having a weaker defensive end room. Like, you could say the defensive end room, I would say our defensive end room is not necessarily strong, but I say our cornerback room was like weak though. Like, it's bad for the most part. But like a lot of teams use a rotation on the defensive line anyway, unless they have a TJ Watt or Myles Garrett. Like, everybody doesn't have that. Even the 49ers a few years ago when they had they had the one Bosa brother and then a rotation. When they traded for Chase Young, he was part of a rotation outside of I keep forgetting which Nick Bosa, right? Nick is out there. Okay, outside of Nick Bosa, the other side was a rotation. You know what I mean? And so, like, that's why that part of it doesn't concern me, especially with the perceived strength of the interior. I mean, we know what Deron Payne and John Allen are, and then we have a pretty good belief in what we think Johnny Newton will be once he's actually healthy and able to get on the field. Now, past him, different conversation. But with the ends, I'm okay with them for now, with the understanding that they'll rotate as far as Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler and Jamin Davis and Cleveland Farrell. Like, the way that's clearly built to be a rotation.
The linebackers. Well, no, let's go to the safeties, right? I know, Breeze, you kind of discussed the safeties. Ashley, what was the last time our cornerback got a touch? Whoa.
D'Angelo Hall?
Nah. That was Fuller.
No, Fowler.
Kendall Fuller. I'm sorry. I forgot.
Yep, Kendall Fuller. Reese said
was it D'Angelo Hall before Kendall Fuller though? Serious question. Was it before Kendall Fuller got that pick 6 against Dallas? Was it D Hall?
No, it was Fuller. Fuller had 2 that year.
No, I'm saying I know he had one against Dallas. He did have. He jumped another route against
Houston.
Somebody else. Houston. Yeah.
Was he okay?
That same year. Yeah, that was
shout
a
out
bad
Kendall Fuller.
Yeah.
Shout out Kendall Fuller.
So let's talk about Sandstro. Like, some people saying, don't put him at corner, don't put him on corner. Listen, you want your best people out there, right? Yep. And if the team is in 12, 13 personnel, you're not taking them off the field. right? If a team is in like a heavy formation, because I think he's probably your best run defender back there, right? So
But he's not. Isn't he kind of small though? If I'm not mistaken.
Sam Still is bigger
that's
than
the
I
thing.
thought he was. He's 5'10".
That's the thing. Yeah, he's 5'10". Yeah,
I thought Sam Still was like 5'8". Like Sam Still is 5'10". He's not I mean, he's smaller than all of us. But he's not tiny though. He's not minuscule. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and even me, I thought he was like 5'8", 180, like a smaller guy. He's 5'10" is decent size for a slot corner. Like,
okay,
that's true, but I prefer he be 6'1", 6'2". Absolutely. But if that was the case, he'd probably be playing on the outside. He'd be our number one corner on the outside. But to the people saying, don't play him on the outside because that's not what he was bought here for, bro. If he's the best corner, if he can do it, why not? Like people get like recency bias, right? People forget for a long time cornerbacks were small.
Hang on. Wait a minute.
Everywhere.
Wait a minute. So Sanders shows 10.
He's listed at 5'10". I'll say that. I've never met the young man, so I can't have a personal gauge, but he's listed at 5'10".
Someone on the podcast kept screaming like as if he was like 5'5" or something.
Oh yeah. I'm aware. I'm aware.
Allegations. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm aware. But yeah, Samson's listed at 5'10".
Hey, bro, you lied to me, bro.
for a very long time. Like, again, we have recency bias. With ever since the Legion of Boom, so like all boundary corners have been 6 feet and above. And like for including like Darrell Green, who's like one of the best cornerbacks ever. Darrell Green is smaller than Mike Sam still. So like if he can do it, and again he played wide receiver, so his size is not. We've seen it. He has good ball skills. He's not scared. He's strong. He's physical. He can tackle. Like if he can play on the outside, play him on the outside. I ain't no worried about that. Now if he can't do it, then don't put him out there. But if he can do it, man, what?
Yeah, I think they're gonna try to keep that boy on the field as much as possible.
Yeah, why not?
What's good, Pedro? How you doing, man? Appreciate you tapping in for sure. It's all about Jaden this year. Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. I think it's more, man. I think they're trying to find other pieces. Like they're trying to build this team. Of course, you want Jaden to, you want going to the off season. You don't want no doubts that this guy's going to be your franchise quarterback.
For sure.
You don't want no doubts at all. All right. The safeties. I still think and we kind of loop. So the cornerback room, I know I say it is it smells crap, right? But Sanders does help it out in a projection wise. Because we don't know what he can be really. I mean, he hasn't played an NFL game. He's played preseason, right? So we still got to see it. We still got to see it. But everything else, we know what it is. Like, hopefully the coaching can make it a little better. But for the most part, them guys been in the league more than 3 years. I mean, Forbes, but we see his struggle.
Forbes was so bad he was so bad. Respectfully, he was so bad last year. You can group him in with everybody else. He did have a nice little pick that they put out today. The little clip, him picking off he jumping De'Ami Brown, which I can only assume probably Jaden or Mariota threw, whatever. But
I heard David Blau through that jump, bro.
Hey, so be it, but
David Blau is crazy.
Hey, to be the Pritchard to somebody, we got every coach on this offensive staff play quarterback at some point.
Cliff, it was Cliff.
Yeah, that's a what Cliff threw it. Can't forget Cliff played quarterback too.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, all right. So I mean, even looking at this safety room, right? Yep, Kendall Fuller. That's right. Yep. On the Texans. What's up, Ben? What's good, man? Appreciate you coming through, man. Ash, I trust this defense because I trust DQ. Okay. Hey, what if Full becomes the best picker? I mean, hey, I'm here for. I'm here for. I'm here for.
Nah. Hold on. Time out. Because we would have to put an asterisk. If the best pick of the Ron Rivera era blossomed under a new coaching staff, I'm not giving Ron credit for that.
No, you can't give Ron credit, bro.
I'm not giving Ron credit for respect because he was, especially with as bad as he was last year. Like, don't get me wrong, I like Emmanuel Forbes as a person. I had high hopes for him. I still do. I want him to be good. I don't want him to be bad, but he was last year. That's a fact. He was bad last year. He was not productive. If he goes into this season and has grown and physically and mentally developed and is a better football player, if he's taking the ball away, if he's actually functional cornerback this season, which he wasn't for a great deal of last season, I can't give Ron credit for bringing him here. I can't do it.
Let me give you guys an analogy.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Coworker has a student, fails every single thing, does not understand how to do the work. Then I come in, I make it easy for him, and he's passing. Sometimes a different voice, man. Maybe he got tired of our speeches. Maybe he got tired of saying, all we need this room, and there was nobody in the room with him.
But who gets the but who gets the credit for the development of those students though?
I mean, the talent is in there. It just got to get, you got to tap into it.
I mean, yeah, man, but I can't, like Ron's best pick is going to end up being Sam Cosmi as a guard. And again, he was drafted to play tackle, so let's not forget that tidbit.
Yeah.
And projecting a contract probably extension somewhere down the line.
Yeah. And then the second best pick probably be Cam Curl, who the new regime didn't even deem worthy enough to be bought back at whatever number he was trying to get.
Man, we were in shambles, yo.
Like you had people who were trying to pay Cam Curl $80 million a year, bro. Like he got what 13.5? Like Sam Cosmi.
He got a 1-year deal for like $1 million, right?
No, he got like a 2-year deal for I want to say like 13.
Was it?
Nah, it was not. I thought it was like 13 for 13. 2 years for 13 mil. I mean, you can go on Spot Rack or whatever and pull it up, but I think it was like 2 years for like 13 mil.
Yeah, somewhere down the line.
Yeah, 2 years for 4.5 million a piece. But he got
that was a funny discourse, yo.
And you had Commanders fans trying to pay this man $80 million a year.
I wasn't with it.
I'm sorry, $80 million. They were like, I give Cam Curl like a 4-year deal for like $80 million. What?
80
what?
Million.
I heard it. I heard it. I'm like, wait, whoa.
Well, the league let us know what his worth is. So
I think the league might have let him know what his worth was, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah,
but
him too. Mm-hmm.
But again, so we have a guard who was projected, who was drafted to be a tackle, and then you have a safety who was grossly overvalued by everybody. He was overvalued by everybody. So those are probably Ron's top 2 picks of his era, unless I'm missing somebody. It seems like the current regime has fixed several of Ron's draft picks. They seem like they fixed Diami. They found a way to make Jamin more productive. So we think they may have fixed Emmanuel Forbes. Now Derek Forrest kind of seems to have taken a step back, but you know what I mean? Like everybody, literally 5 of the 7 picks from last year have been cut.
Bad.
They didn't even make it to the end of their rookie deal, which for later round picks is 3 years?
We said
B-Rob. Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot B-Rob. Thank you. I'll give it. Okay. So who is it going to be? B-Rob or Cosmi?
No, I mean, I'll have to say Cosmi is the best one.
Okay, so Cosmi, B-Rob, Cam.
If Cosmi gets that second contract, for sure. Whoever gets the second contract, either here or somewhere else, which I think Cosmi will, get a nice deal. He will be one of
I
the
think
highest paid guards in the league.
I think by virtue of position, Kyle's more likely to get the second contract because
Yeah.
you know the running back shelf life, just you know,
Right.
especially with the weight. Like B. Rob
Right.
is such a physical running back.
Yeah.
Like you know, he may get a second contract, but I don't think it'll be a big one, like a huge contract though. Just because again, just the way he plays and running back shelf life nowadays is just
Yeah.
you know, it's not sustainable.
Really can't think of nobody else,
we'll
man.
definitely see.
Those,
Hold on, let me see.
Oh, we still have not talked about the safeties yet.
oh yeah. So we got Quan starting free.
Quan, Chin, Defoe,
It's like a
Revo.
wild card, man, because it's like you see in Carolina, he had those couple good years. Then he was falling out of grace with that staff multiple times. I think if he balls out in this defense, I think he could be deemed, a contract extension to stay with the team. But
Mm.
you just have to see. Then the backups, you got Percy Butler, Derek Forrest,
Tyler
and
Owens and Jeremy Reeves.
Tyler.
Jeremy Reeves is exclusively free a special teams player. Like that's why you keep 6 safeties. He's your all pro special teams player. Jeremy Reeves is going to play if Jeremy Reeves is lined up as a safety on defense, a lot is going wrong. And I love Jeremy Reeves to death. Please don't ever mistake that. He's one of my favorite players on this team, but Jeremy Reeves is a liability as a safety on defense. elite special teamer, but it's a lot to be desired to say. Sorry.
It's a lot to be desired. We just don't know, man. We got
Ben, who is this question referring to?
I think Forbes.
Hell, I'm sorry. No. No.
I think like I say with Quan Martin, man, like I think a lot of us, he's a second round pick. He's projected to be pretty good. He came from a very good Illinois defense. He played a couple positions there. But again, it wasn't consistent, right? Like I think a lot of us remember that one quarter he had, like that impact of a quarter that he had. And we kind of holding on to that. But you have Chin, right? He's coming up. What he played 7 games last year, something like that. So he's on a prove it deal, to see if he can get back to this performance. The first 4 years of his career, 3 years of his career. So it's a lot to be desired, man. We just have to see if Witt and those can really put these guys together. All right, I think our strongest position is D tackles for the most part. I think that's going to be a strength. Hopefully, these guys are rejuvenated and they ready to go out and ball out. You know what I'm saying? Your boy CeeLo still doing the game time speeches even when he ain't playing. So there you go with that. You know what I'm saying? But and then Newton. What's going on with Newton? We don't know. I don't know. I think the first roster injury report will be Wednesday, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see where he is. Are they going to put him on PUP? Is he going to just miss a first couple games? Is he going to play? Coleman strapped it all up, so he looks like he's ready to go. What is he going to look like? But as far as the defensive tackles, like they traded Ridgeway. A lot of us, thought Ridgeway would make it over Mathis. They kept Mathis. So those are your 4 D tackles. So we'll start with you, Sheila, before you got to jump off. What you think about the D tackles?
So I think I mentioned it in the chat. I think up the middle is where we're strongest, right? Tackles, linebackers, safeties, and the edges is where you got quote unquote questions. I think our nickel room is pretty good. I think, but yeah, man, I like our tackles. I like the rotation we have with Payne, Allen, and Mathis, and Johnny Newton when he's healthy. I think it's a game changer. Newton, when healthy, is special. If we can reach that potential, when he's healthy, I'm looking forward to seeing him on the football field like real soon. But yeah, I like the tackles, man. Nothing negative to say about them at all. And finally, we can have a rotation. I mean, up until this point, Allen and Payne been playing upwards around 89 and 93% of the snaps. That's insane at 310 pounds. So.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Breeze?
I mean, I pretty much echo everything CeeLo said. I'm not crazy about Phidarian Mathis. Just because another Ron pick who was overdrafted. I hate holding that against guys, but it is what it is. Most people had a third or fourth round grade on him. He was picked in the second round. And when I say he hasn't done anything, I don't even mean that he hasn't produced. Like, he hasn't been able to be on the field. You know what I mean? He got hurt with the first quarter of the first game his rookie year, or the first drive maybe. It was early in that first game, if I'm not mistaken, against Jacksonville, and then he got hurt, I believe, fairly early in the last season. So I mean, he may be a productive player, but he hasn't been able to play. And again, he's somebody else who could show growth and improvement with a new and improved coaching staff. So I'm not completely out on him. Just, I like John Ridgeway. He's no longer here. It is what it is. There's no reason to hold on to that. But what the projected top three is, obviously, we know what Daron Payne is. We know what John Allen is. And if Johnny Allen can be Allen, Lord have mercy, Newton.
Johnny Allen.
Johnny Newton can be anything close to what he was at Illinois in the NFL. I mean, you got a three-headed monster at defensive tackle. Like, you can easily line up at 5'2". I mean, in a 5'2" and just wreck stuff. You know what I mean? Let alone have a rotation and be able to pull guys in and out. So I'm looking forward to it. I agree. That's the most solid group in my opinion.
What about you, DT?
Yeah, so the interior is definitely the strength. I was a little surprised about the Ridgeway trade a little bit, only because we kind of all felt like, with Ridgeway, he was the one that we had seen the most out of instead of Phidarian Mathis. But I think it was good because he played so much more than Phidarian that they got some good value for him.
I think that too. There was trade value for him. What there wasn't was Phidarian.
Yeah. So interior, you have Daron Payne, you have Jonathan Allen, and the biggest X factor will be Johnny Newton. But just looking at the room overall, for Dan Quinn and Joe Witt, they have to be salivating at the fact that they never really had defensive tackle talent like this for the time they've been in the NFL. I mean, the best defensive tackle that Dan Quinn has had is Grady Jarrett, and Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen blow them away, light years away, just in terms of how overall they can play. And then you have Newton, who also has that same talent just like them. The possibilities of how this interior pressure could be will be very beneficial to the questionable edge pressure we'll have with guys like Dorrance Armstrong and a couple other guys on the D line.
I will say, just last thing for me, them keeping 5 on the initial 53 and then trading Ridgeway away, who's, so we've seen, be one of the better run defenders of the entire defensive line group. I think that leads me to believe that Newton is healthier than we kind of think he is. Because I wouldn't want to see. I wouldn't think that they were going to the season with Payne and Allen, and then no Newton. Like, say Newton is headed to PUP or whatever for the first 4 games, 6 games, whatever it is, and Phidarian Mathis is your third tackle, and there's nobody behind him. So that move leads me to believe that Newton is healthier than we kind of think he is, and it was more so like an abundance of caution for him to really not be as active in training camp and preseason than it was him actually not being able to do something.
That's a good point, man. I hope so. What's up, Bray? How you doing, man? Yeah, we haven't seen the defense in its entirety. I mean, we had Wagner. Wagner hasn't played at all. I don't even think he played any joint practices. Right.
Oh,
So
nah.
I think he's a.
Did
Did he? I don't
I feel
remember
like he
seeing
dressed
him.
against. I feel like he dressed against the Jets. I might be wrong though.
Yeah. So I mean, he hasn't even been out there. Like we haven't seen Louisville and them out there, and enough time to really like get in a groove. Like we haven't seen it, and I'm eager to see those guys out there at full strength. You never know. Somebody like Wagner could put people in their right positions, make sure they're in the right position to make plays. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this defense. I'm with you, Brad.
Hey, can one of y'all check? Because I don't have my computer with me right now. What year is this for Louisville? It's like 6 or 7 for him.
Say it again.
I know, what year is this in the league for Louisville? I know he spent. This is his
7.
3rd team. 7. Okay.
7.
That's
And I didn't know that. I didn't even realize that. Like he been in the league that long.
Yeah, because he started with the Jets,
Mm-hmm.
and then he went to Carolina. I mean, I think, man, I don't want to speak too soon, but like when Joe Witt said, like, you know, they're gonna fly to the football and, you know, be fast and physical and beat people at, like, I mean, this between like signing a guy like Louisville, drafting a guy like Sandra Steele and like they're just signing a Jeremy Chin if he can be what we've seen him be in the past. Like he means it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they trying to get to the ball and thump when they get there. So I'm excited to see it. Hopefully it all comes together in, you know, one unit.
Would you say, DT?
He said only drafted 2 starters. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was asking. Like, what you mean? I think Coleman is so far is going to start.
Coleman is slotted to be the starting left tackle. That would be 3. Ben Sinnett in a year or two could be a start. Yeah, he's not starting. No, I'm saying, but like
he's dead. But he'll get.
I mean, Newton, if you ain't have Allen and Payne, he would definitely be a starter.
I mean, if Newton plays this year in Pops, I think he makes one of those 2, possibly makes one of them 2 expendable.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
but look, let me ask you this, Ben. Is it more important to be a starter or to be a heavy contributor?
Mm.
To you, Ben.
I think it depends on people to get a safety into a linebacker improve form. The center of your defense.
Yeah, center of your defense. Yep.
But I mean, Joe was it Joe Witt or Dan Quinn that said we're gonna have 18 he said 18 starters? Is that what he said?
Yeah, I only saw like 4.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna be all right. I trust in them. Matt Ryan, oh man.
What's up, Matt? Appreciate you, man.
YouTube,
First time you joining. Comment, definitely appreciate you. Yeah, man. Oh yeah, that's on Facebook. And if you're on X, if you hit that profile picture, it'll take you to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Come over there and chop it up with us on this side. We would definitely appreciate all of you that's here with us right now. Why we draft Newton over Edrin Cooper, and why we draft Luke over Troy. Well, Troy Frank is not looking too good.
Yeah, he's not even starting.
Yeah, he's not starting. He's like wide receiver 5. Like he's not looking good at all.
They draft. I mean, they said it. They had like a mid first round grade on Johnny Newton, and he fell to them at like what 36.
Yeah, 36? Everyone had first round grades on him.
Yeah, so I mean, I think now we know he kind of failed because of his foot. His foot, yeah. But I mean, that's just kind of how the draft works. At a certain point, a guy's value based on where you have him on your board is too good to pass up. So if they had him slotted at 14 and he's available at 36, you kind of got to take him at that point. That's basically what happened with Newton.
And it's not like they didn't draft a linebacker later either. They drafted McGee,
who was promising before he got hurt.
Yeah,
he was showing flashes before he got hurt. So.
And then the whole Troy Franklin thing. Look, I mean, a lot of us had preferred receivers at that last spot before it hit to the day 3. But Luke has shown something, man. Like I think he's going to be contributing a lot in this offense.
Yeah, I think he'll play. I think he'll get in. But there's a reason why they brought in wide receiver help. And Noah Brown is just not some like waiver wire. I mean, well, he didn't have to go through the waiver process because he's vetted, right? So he actually chose us. We didn't claim him off waivers. He actually chose us. And I'm sure he had other teams also. He was actually a free agent. Because look, man, like that Houston wide receiver room is stacked, bro.
Yeah.
It's stacked. He was wide receiver like 4 or 5, depending on how you feel about Michi. So they chose to keep Michi over him because Michi is younger, of course.
Rookie contract.
Right. So that's why, and I think they looking out for him. Like he want to get more targets and get a better opportunity. This is the place to come to get that opportunity, right?
Got a hot young quarterback, strong arm, accurate, a team with promise, and like Duke said, opportunity to play. Yeah. Like again, with all due respect to De'Ami Brown, please ask me not even. With all due respect to De'Ami Brown, it's like if I'm looking at it, it's Terry McLaurin in them. Like if I'm Noah Brown, yeah, I can beat out De'Ami Brown. I can beat out Luke McCaffrey. I can beat out, I can beat them out. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be wide receiver number 2 and get a bunch of targets. So
yeah.
I mean, the only reason Coleman didn't get playing time was because of injury, but he was starting every chance he had an opportunity.
Yeah, they had him starting right before he got that injury.
Yeah.
And Senate, like he's not going to take first. They have Ertz. It's the reason why they brought Ertz in there to help with the offense, help with Jaden. I think he's gonna play a lot of snaps early.
Luke was a 3rd round pick who's still learning how to play receiver too. To be honest,
this is actually his second year
playing wide receiver, and he was a 3rd round pick.
I mean, honestly,
3rd round pick, so everybody can't be starters.
You should be more.
But hold on, my bad. So Ben, answer that question for me though. Answer that question. What's more important to you, that Senate and Luke and Coleman? Is it more important that these guys start, or is it also important if they're heavy contributors? Let's just put it in context. Offense has 40 snaps. Senate plays 28 of them. Right? Luke plays 25 of them. That's heavy contribution for a 3rd round pick in Luke and a 2nd round pick in Snap. So let me know, Ben. Go ahead, DT.
Oh, I was just saying, like with the whole Luke over OZ thing. Like, look, the wide receiver room was probably the most fluid and most surprising thing we saw this whole training camp because we've been entrenching Jahan Dotson to be the wide receiver 2, and then just starting to see all guys like De'Ami step up, Zacchaeus step up, and Luke making plays and stuff. Like it was a competition for the entire time that we never realized it was a competition for that wide receiver 2 spot. So that's more of an indictment on Jahan within that room. Well, he's no longer with us, but it just was an indictment on that. So that room was just competing overall. So I don't have a problem with that. Plus, he's still learning to be a wide receiver. And USC.
Literally. Reese to McGee was kind of slotted to be Bobby Wagner's backup for real. Like he was learning to play the mic behind Bobby Wagner. That being said, in three linebacker sets, he might have been the 3rd guy out there, but he was definitely wearing the green dot behind Bobby Wagner for a good portion of training camp.
Yeah, even in those preseason games, he started out that last preseason game. He started at Mike. Yeah, he's a great. Let me see. Oh man, that's tough, Ben. We want to know about. Yep, that's true. They did say that. He did say that. So I think the wide receiver. I think the wide receiver position, outside of Terry, I think is another. I think Noah Brown has proven that he can be effective for sure. So I think adding him to that room makes it stronger than what it was. De'Ami, he just has to show it in the game, like during the regular season. Again, Luke is still learning. We'll see a lot You know, he might get some reverses. I think they're gonna work him in the middle of the field, get on some over routes, try to get him mismatches on the linebacker. I think you'll see enough of that. I mean, I think you'll see some of that with him. Yeah.
To the wide receiver. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
To the wide receiver group, right? I just find it weird. Like, I get it. I really do. I find it weird that there are people who legitimately thought that Martavis Bryant was going to be wide receiver. Like, when we signed Martavis Bryant, people thought we were getting the guy fresh out of Clemson, right? Like, I won't even get into where they thought we were going to slide, and I'll leave that for Deuce, right? But there are people thought we were getting the guy who was at Clemson 10 years ago. That's who they thought we were signing. But for some reason, it's so outside the realm of possibility that De'Ami Brown will be the least bit productive. He's actually been playing wide receiver, and that's actually shown growth and improvement through the last 8 months. You know, from last season ending to where we are now. It's just I don't know, man. All right, for you to put all your hopes and dreams into Martavis Bryant, who has how many catches in 10 years, Deuce?
23.
23 catches in 10 years. And this kid, De'Ami Brown, is what, 23 years old? Like, I think dummy.
I think Hampton will. And what's up, Day? I think it's your first time commenting. We definitely appreciate you. Continue to come back. Yeah, man. I think McGee is hurt, so he's gonna be out for a few weeks.
6, 8.
I think is it Pup?
He was short term. I thought it was short term right now.
Hours? I think it's 6.
Okay.
I think 6 is when they can what they call it, activate him.
Activate him, and then he got like another 2 weeks
back,
something like that.
To see if he can go. So I think they was already working with him at linebacker. So I think he's gonna play a lot of the McGee role, especially on specials. I think we'll see him a lot on specials. For sure.
I agree.
I like contributors. Injuries are can't help it. Need them guys to step in and actually step up. Yeah, that's what we need, man. That's what we need.
At the end of the day, only 11 can be on the field at a time. So to add to Deuce's point, the point I think Deuce is building to, you know, again, at me being somebody who coaches football, like, you know, my first 11, of course, I want my top 11 to be dogs. But if everybody under that is puppies and they ain't ready to play, it don't do me no good. Because you know, injuries are going to happen. Guys are going to get tired. Something is going to happen where I'm going to need somebody outside of that top 11 to get on that field and do something. So if I can find somebody that can come in and contribute, I don't need you to play 60 snaps a game. Give me 20, give me 15, give me 25. Right. You know, if that's your role, that's fine. And from then we can find a role in this for you, and then maybe one day in the near or distant future, you can be a starter. But
yeah, I mean, I feel you, Ben. I think you still ain't answered my question yet, either, Ben. I think so. I think your point is valid. I think they really wanted Luke. I think Luke was looked at as a mid 4th round guy, mid 4th round to later 4th round. We didn't have a 4th round pick. Like, remember, we didn't have a 4th round pick. We had 3 picks in the 3rd. We picked them with the last 3rd that we had got in the Chase Young trade. So I mean, they took a chance. Like, he wasn't the only 3rd round pick. Like, we got to remember that too. Like, he wasn't the only 3rd round pick.
Coleman and Center were the other 3rd round picks, right?
Right. We had 2 other 3rd round picks too. He wasn't just the only one. So I think if you look at it like that, Ben, it makes, you know, maybe it makes a little more sense to you that they took that gamble. Like, if he was the only pick in the 3rd round and they did that early in the 3rd round, then definitely. But he was the 3rd pick. He was the last pick. He was also projected to go middle of the 4th. So if he was the last pick, so what's that? 15 picks early, maybe? So if you look at it like 15 to 18 picks early, it's not that bad.
Yeah. That was a supplemental 3rd. I mean, not supplemental. That was
it was a
conditional 3rd. So that was after the initial 32.
Yep. Compensatory pick.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Trace, I think Noah, who we just signed will help out. I definitely agree. I agree with you, Noah. All right. So of course we got questions on the O-line because we just don't know, man. I think I think Tyler Biotish, I think there's no question. I think he's going to be a good player. I think Cosme is going to be good. Allegretti, he seems like he's hungry. Seems like he's ready to work. All of the opportunities he did get, he was always proficient. He was always a good guard. So I think we can kind of be easy with him. So that's the center. Like that's that middle of that
Interior.
offensive line.
Yeah.
That interior is strong, right? It's strong, and Jaden is going to need that to be able to step up in the pocket. But the questions is on the outside. Is that with the tackles? We saw what Wiley did last year, and you can look at it a couple ways. Like he was just bad, period, or you look at it as, having to block pass plays, the quarterback holding on to the ball. The play design was never in their favor. You can look at all those things if you choose to, but as far as the numbers tell you, he didn't have a good year. But can he bounce back? It seems like they believe that he can. I mean, we already seen him with one in preseason and get a costly penalty when he did come back. So we're going to definitely see. And then Coleman, like, what is he? Another third round pick. A guy we didn't know if he was going to be a guard or a left tackle. He's ended up being a left tackle, so we'll see how that works. We got Trent Scott, we got Corn Lucas as a swing tackle, so we just got to see. But what's going to be more important is Cliff Kingsbury. Like, can he run a scheme and can he call an offense? Can he tell a story that's going to protect or hide the deficiencies or the questions that we have on this offensive line, and is he going to be able to do that?
I will say from what we saw the short amount of time it was in preseason, is that Jaden Daniels seemed very proficient in, and again, I know it was a vanilla offense versus a vanilla defense for the most part, except for New England, they would always be a little extra. But Jaden Daniels seemed very proficient in making his pre-snap reads and getting the ball out
All
of
right,
his
my
hands
bad. I appreciate that, man. All right, I got you. I ain't see it. My bad. All right, man. Appreciate you joining us, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Keep coming
Appreciate
back. Keep coming back. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Jaden Daniels has shown, at least in the preseason, albeit with the vanilla offense versus mostly vanilla defenses, he seemed very proficient in making his pre-snap reads and getting the ball out of his hand quickly. Like understanding kind of what the defense, what he thought the defense was going to be doing, seeing where his mismatch or opening was, and as soon as the ball hit his hands, is the ball is coming out. He's not sitting there, as we've seen a lot last year, patting the ball, holding the ball, trying to, you know what I mean? It was boom, 1-2, top of the drop, ball coming out. Which would help if his line is not, as stout as it may need to be for a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
Reese say Wiley shouldn't stop. Go ahead, DT.
Yeah, the questions will always be with the tackles currently right now. You have a rookie projecting to start with Brandon Coleman, and you have Andrew Riley, holdover from last year. We know what Wiley is at this point, but as of right now, even with a guy like Cornelius Lucas, I don't see anyone better than Wiley. Wiley might be our best right tackle currently right now until we address that issue next year. But the interior is definitely solid with Allegretti, Biotic, and Cosby. The depth will be probably the biggest question that we look at. I mean, we got Michael Dieter, Chris Paul coming back, showed he could play guard and tackle just a little bit. I don't know if he is perfect at tackle at times, but I think he does just enough when he's thrust into that role. And honestly, man, I just think with a lot of gripes with this offensive line has been, they horrible, but they added 3 people to the offensive line. I should say they added people to the offensive line. They have a new offensive coordinator. They have a quarterback who is a quicker decision maker. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like Sam was holding the ball constantly. Sam was holding the ball in training camp. That's what I think people don't realize. Like the problems that Sam was doing, people were seeing it at training camp.
Mm-hmm.
They're not seeing that with Jaden. Jaden is getting the ball out of his hand quick, and even when he doesn't, we know he has the ability to go 0 to 60 when necessary. So that's why I think a lot of people that talks how bad the offensive line is and still say it sucked. It could be night and day different what we saw last year. If they go from 65 sacks to 30 and to 30 or maybe somewhere in the 40s, that's a 9-day difference, man. So I think the offensive line is definitely improved in my opinion. I'm probably going to be the one of those guys that's going to be boosting the O line more than other people.
For sure. And that takes us to the running backs. We got 3. I kind of. Matter of fact, let's go to the tight ends first. Let's do the tight ends. Go to the tight ends, right? They put out there that they were looking to trade Cole. I guess they wasn't able to trade him. He ended up being on initial 53. Maybe they tried. Maybe, prior to, when the trades was the trade talk was out there, maybe they had some people that was, interested, right? But they just wanted to see how the waiver wire, fell. And then they kind of kept him to see if they could be able to trade. So then they end up releasing him. And then they end up bringing him back. Like he's on the practice squad. So Cole Turner is on the practice squad. He's still on this team. But they end up putting Yankov on the 53-man roster, right? Yeah. Was that surprising to you all?
It was surprising to me. I thought they were just going to go with 3 tight ends, but Yankov definitely has shown something that this team has been desperately asking for. That's physicality and playing fast. And the funny thing about him is he's also a former quarterback / running back. Like he's played multiple.
He played a lot of stuff.
He's played multiple positions, and now he's in the NFL playing tight end. And regardless of what he's playing, he's showing the team first mentality, blocking, working on the fundamental things. And I think that's really caught the eye of this coaching staff. And they could probably flex him into some type of fullback and some packages and things like that. He could play special teams. So that was really surprising to me because, I kind of been penciling in just having 3 tight ends.
Yeah. You saying it should start. I don't know why they kept Yankov. I think so. I think Ertz is going to be a receiving tight end. Yeah, I think Ertz is going to be a receiving tight end. And that's pretty much who he is, right? Senate can do both. He can be a receiving tight end. He can get yak. He can do it all. He can also block. Bates, of course, is your blocker. Like I never believed that he was gonna. I knew he was gonna make the team. Right, he's your blocker. He can also be the fullback, and so can Snats. So the thing with Bates is that Bates is not going to create separation. He's not going to beat anybody, but he can find a soft spot in the zone, sit, and he can catch the ball. Yankov was he can block, right, and he also plays special teams.
Right.
And I think that's also big because Cole Turner didn't play special teams. Yankov also plays special teams.
Cole Turner also wasn't a great blocker either.
And he was not.
Cole Turner was a wide receiver that only got converted to tight end because he's big.
Yeah.
That's why Cole Turner played. And
he put on weight this offseason.
Yeah. To help out. But Cole Turner played wide receiver for the majority of his collegiate football career. Mr. David just like, bro, you like 6'7" and you not fast to play receiver in the NFL. You're gonna have to convert, and he converted to tight end. But Cole Turner is not your traditional tight end. He's a big body. And it's like, okay, you got to play you got to bump down. And I think that's ultimately what led to him not making a roster. Like, okay, you're not a great blocker. We can't line you up. We can't line you up in the backfield at fullback at all, which you can do with the other 3 tight ends outside of Zach Ertz. And it's like, you don't play special teams. So Like your one value is as a pass catcher, and you haven't necessarily been great at that in the time that
Exactly.
you've been here. So it's like there might still be something there. We'll keep you around the practice squad, but it's like, the more you can do, the better. And you're literally you've been a one trick pony. And as a tight end, we need more from you. That's kind of what it was, McCall.
The running backs, we kept 3. Now I always kind of thought it was going to be some type of 4-3 type of situation, either 4 tight ends, 3 running backs, 4 running backs, 3 tight ends. But they kept 3, even though they was able to bring Wiley back on the practice squad. I think we're good, man. I think all 3 of them will be active on game day for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see the workload, especially for Eckler and B-Rob. How often are we going to be running? That's definitely something to look forward to. But I'm okay with this running back one. I'm okay because I think even if something happens, I think that's enough. Like the 2 of them or 2 of them can get you through a game to be able to kind of pull from your practice squad. The next week. So, what you think?
I'm fine with the running back room. To be honest with you, I mean, McMichael and Wiley were kind of like neck and neck for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
They still kept Wiley, and then McMichael made the practice squad. But like you said, if something happens and one of them goes down, I think they'll be able to get through the rest of the game with the remaining 2. They'll be fine. And then they still have they have 2 of them because then they brought Kaz Allen back on the practice squad too, right?
Yeah.
He's
crazy,
technically
man.
a running back now. So
Benjamin crazy, man. He said John Bates gonna be the Ron Rivera best pick.
Yeah, Ben Sinnott over Brock Bowers.
I ain't have him over Brock Bowers, but I had Brock
Deuce
Bowers
was high on Sinnott though.
And I was crazy high on Snacks. I didn't have him over Bowers though, but if you follow me since like February when we first started looking at his film, I was high on him. To Tavion, it was Bowers, a little gap, Sinnott, a huge gap, and then the rest of the guys. Yeah. But Tavion Sanders, the whole if you go back and watch, you can see how I felt about Tavion Sanders. I thought he could be great tight end, but he just doesn't have that work ethic. I think that's going to hurt him, and that's exactly why he failed as far as he did in the draft. Quarterbacks, I mean, we got Jaden. He hasn't played a snap. He's shown all the promise. He's doing everything good, everything right. So that's something to see. We just got to wait and see that, but. Mariota and Driscoll, do you think both of those guys is active? I mean, do you think both of those guys are going to be on the 53? Come.
You mean like on the game day roster?
No. Like, do you think they're going to make a move or something to try to get one of those guys on the practice, or do you think they're on the 50? Because I don't think they're going to be on the game day. I don't think all 3 are going to be on the game day roster.
Nah, I think
but one will be emergency, so he'll dress for sure.
Nah, I honestly, I think that. Well, I know quarterback rules are weird nowadays.
Yeah.
But so I'm not fully versed in like the quarterback rules because they change every year at this point. But I mean, obviously, Jaden is number 1. We all know that. I think Mariota. Listen, Jeff Driscoll came very close to taking that job from Marcus Mariota.
That's why he's still on this team, I believe.
Right.
They gave that man $6 million. So
push come to shove, I think they dress 2 on Sundays, and if it come down to it, I think push come to shove, Luke McCaffrey is your emergency quarterback on game days. I don't think they dress 3 quarterback. I mean, like I said, I'm not versed in the quarterback.
So okay, so like this is the rule. So your emergency quarterback, he's still a part of the 53. Like he has to be part of your 53, right? So he's a part of your 53. On game day, he can dress. So Usually, you only have 47
So
active players.
he's part of your 53, but he doesn't count towards your 46 or 47.
Yeah. So yep,
Okay.
right. So it's 47 active players, and the 48th is the emergency quarterback. Right. So if both of your quarterbacks get hurt, he can come in.
Gotcha. Okay.
But if any one of those end up being cleared, regardless, if they're cleared, I don't care if they got a limp or whatever, he has to go back to the sideline, and that quarterback has to come back in.
Wow.
So he has to be ruled out. Not doubtful, questionable. He has to be ruled out.
He has to be ruled out. He has to be ruled out.
I think it's more intriguing to have to keep a receiver or a tight end or somebody that played quarterback in middle school and have to make him play quarterback.
I mean, but like it's really no. I mean, yeah. I mean,
if you get down to your third quarterback, it is what it is at that point anyway.
Yeah, for real.
Like,
yeah.
if you get down to your third quarterback on game day, like if you get down to
it is what it is at that point. Definitely. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, man. So we'll see. I mean, they need to expand the roster. I mean, you got 18 weeks. I mean, just activate the whole 53. Like, come on, man. Like,
I never understood why. I mean, I get it, but like I never understood why you couldn't activate the whole 53. I know the NFL's policy on it, but just from a logistical standpoint, I don't understand why you can't just have if they make
most of those guys got smaller salaries, so it's not like 48 through 53 got huge salaries. So I don't know. One day we'll do the math, just kind of get an average, multiply by 32.
No, the NFL thought about it. Okay, if we activate everybody on the 53 and somebody gets hurt, then theoretically the other team has an additional man on game day versus okay, you have to list these guys can't dress. So that's why they make you pick 7 people or whatever it is that can't dress. It's stupid. But that's literally that's what it is. That's where it derives from. Now they may have changed the thought process on that in the past, but that's where having inactive guy on the 53, that's where it comes from. Yeah. So if I'm on the Commanders roster and X person is on the Cowboys roster, we all 53. If I get hurt, then the Cowboys still have 53 and we got 52. So we're down 1 essentially.
What a catch, bro!
Stupid.
For sure. All right, man. Look, is week 1 of the NFL, man. We got a game on Thursday. Hopefully we got a game on Friday. Who knows what's gonna happen between now and Friday over in Brazil? Because if anybody get caught on Twitter, it's an $8,300 fine each time, I believe. So we'll see what happens. And if Green Bay is wearing that home and they wearing that green, it's gonna be nasty.
They definitely wearing the green because the Eagles wearing white. Eagles wearing white and black. Eagles wearing white and black. It ain't gonna be us. Nasty, bro. It ain't gonna be us.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
By the way, they color rush out there, Joe. That's what they color rush.
It's gonna be crazy, yeah. Maybe it's some type of shade green. Maybe it ain't all greens. I mean, we definitely gonna find out, man. But yeah, man, the boys probably gonna be leaving Friday, man, heading to Tampa Bay. The game is at 4:25 on Sunday. And we'll definitely be here at 9:30 for the post game coverage. So definitely appreciate it. What you got, DT?
Man, look, tune into Command Time. We'll be trying to see if we can get a Tampa Bay fan up there, and tune in to Thursday for a early edition of Thursday Night Football. We're going to go right before the game, so we're not going to be interfering with the game and stuff. So tune in with Enter the Lab, where we talk about college football, what we've seen this weekend, and see if USC could pull this upset win, and that'll be something good to talk about, and talk about the NFL and much more.
Man, it seemed like this game been on for like 6 hours.
Not penalties.
What you got, Breeze?
Man, Cooling Up Coach Breeze podcast. Got more content dropping this week. Another guest spot, I believe, with the Susio Sports podcast. Shout out to the good men and women over there. It's football season. Shout out Dunbar Football. We wanted to know 43-20 win this week. CJ, I know you're going to see this. Please stop doing what you're doing because it's going to get bad for you. Respectfully, love you, bro. But yeah, man, it's football season on every front. Coach, fan, I ain't playing no more, but it's here. We here. So
Yes, sir. And we back, man. We're gonna be here all week with some coverage. So definitely appreciate your time. Check out in the description on the YouTube channel. You can check my Twitter. Check out the Red Zone store. Got some new Commanders gear up.
by the way, yes, fire drops, please.
Check it out, man. It should be in this description.
Y'all cop after
What was
week
that,
2.
DC?
I don't know what just happened.
Then your screen froze.
Y'all cop after week 2 because I need to be the only person outside of Deuce at the stadium week 2 with this short one. But we'll work that out. Get your game day drip ready for week 2. It is time. It's time. So I don't want to see no weak fits at the stadium week 2.
Yeah, get your game day drip up.
I'm watching y'all.
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all with your time. We know your time is very valuable for you to spend it with us. We definitely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.